Thank you for joining us for this episode of Comply on the Fly with M3 and Karen B. Comply on the Fly is your trusted weekly resource for reliable insight and quick answers on common employee benefits compliance questions. Please note, this podcast and the contents herein do not constitute legal advice. Seek the advice of counsel for any employee benefits compliance-related guidance or strategy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen B. And the Comply on the Fly question of the week is another one directly from a client. And this one is another FMLA question. Quote, I have an employee who is pregnant and due in August. She is having complications with her pregnancy and missing work. I've sent her the FMLA paperwork. However, she has not returned any of it. She indicated that she's off due to being sick from the pregnancy and has brought in notes from her doctor taking her off of work. Can I designate FMLA even though she hasn't returned the paperwork? Great question, and it touches on something that I think a lot of employers run into, and that is employees that just don't want to take FMLA or think it is up to them to decide when it applies and when it doesn't. However, it is really up to the employer to understand when a situation might be FMLA qualifying and to get the process going. It is to the employee's benefit to have FMLA designated because it protects their job and also their benefits. And without it, the employee could be subject to the employer's attendance policy. Or if FMLA is not designated appropriately, the employer may have situations in which employees are off of work for very long periods of time, sometimes much longer than the original 12 weeks provided under FMLA, if the employer allows for vacation, sick, or PTO time to run without an FMLA designation. So, if you recognize something might qualify, either as a serious health condition or under the family leave portion, Title 29 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Part 825.300B1 states when an employee requests FMLA leave or when the employer acquires knowledge that an employee's leave may be for an FMLA qualifying reason, the employer must notify the employee of the employee's eligibility to take FMLA leave within 5 business days, absent extenuating circumstances. So, in addition, the rights and responsibilities notice must be provided along with that eligibility notice and along with a medical certification if it is needed to determine if the condition or situation qualifies for FMLA. In the question above, it sounds like the employer may already have enough information to designate FMLA based on the doctor notes provided, and in that case could provide the designation notice based on that information. And remember, in these situations, the regulations provide the following about FMLA leave for pregnancy. And this is in Part 825.120A4. Quote, the expectant mother is entitled to FMLA leave for incapacity due to pregnancy, for prenatal care, or for her own serious health condition following the birth of the child. Circumstances may require that FMLA leave begin before the actual date of birth of a child. An expectant mother may take FMLA leave before the birth of the child for prenatal care, or if her condition makes her unable to work. The expectant mother is entitled to leave for incapacity due to pregnancy, even though she does not receive treatment from a healthcare provider during the absence, and even if the absence does not last for more than 3 consecutive calendar days. For an example, a pregnant employee may be unable to report to work because of severe morning sickness, end quote. This indicates that FMLA is available for situations before the birth of the child, like the one referenced in the question. And that is your Comply on the Fly question of the week. Thanks for tuning in.
What's on your mind? If you have a pressing compliance question, send it to askkarenb@m3ins.com. We'll do our best to cover it in an upcoming episode. You can now follow and subscribe to Comply on the Fly on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Make sure to tune in next week and encourage others to join us.